Hey guys, it's Milo, and today I'm going to be doing an in-depth review about the Keycool 84 by Yunzi. This is a 75% keyboard, and it's honestly the nicest keyboard I own that's under $100. There's honestly no problems with it, and it's just built so well. So let's get straight into the video. But actually, I would like to point out that my camera quality has been really garbage lately. I can't use my camera as a webcam, so I'm going to be getting a new camera hopefully in the next week or so, and that will fix that issue. So right now I'm doing a format where I don't show my face, which kind of sucks, but I will start showing my face pretty soon. Also, if you want to buy this keyboard, then you can use the link in the description, and that supports the channel. And also feel free to like and subscribe. The case on this keyboard is a white plastic, and it's actually textured. My other keyboards are a nice smooth finish, and I honestly prefer the smooth finish, but this is really just personal preference. On the bottom of this case, you can see that there's rubber feet, and they stick to the desk pretty well. It also has flip out feet, and that's a really nice touch. Most keyboards do not have that. And the USB-C connector is at the middle of the keyboard, and it's slightly inside of the keyboard, like underneath it. And it has cable channels to go right or left if you want to do so. The case of this keyboard is bottom mount, and I'm actually used to top mount. I can't really tell much of a difference, except for the fact that this feels a bit less pingy, and it's kind of a softer feeling. Also, it doesn't use screws to keep the two halves of the keyboard together, so that is pretty interesting. It uses these clips that you can kind of pop out with your fingers. And there's sound dampening foam inside of the keyboard and under the spacebar, and that keeps this from being all pingy and echoey. It's actually amazing the improvement a piece of foam can do. And of course, there's a nice solid aluminum plate in the inside of this keyboard, so it doesn't have any flex. And this is actually a very nice plate, and it's kind of surprising that one plate can be better than the other if it's made of the same material. But this is dipped in a white paint, which actually does not scratch, compared to my SK61, which scratched so much it was actually like unbelievable. Also, this plate seems to have aluminum going through the PCB, which makes it even more rigid, so I thought that was pretty interesting. You know, I did get this keyboard for free, but I'm sharing my honest opinions because this isn't a sponsored video. And these keycaps, in my opinion, are almost perfect. So they're PBT, they're 1.5 millimeters thick, so they're very durable, and they have a nice thocky sound. They're cherry profile, so it's actually my second favorite profile. My first favorite is SA, just because I love the high profile and everything like that. And these also have a really cool colorway with all the different colors, and it's side printed, which is pretty interesting. My only complaints about the keycaps are the fact that the spacebar is slightly warped, and the printing on the sides are a little bit squashed down, which does look a bit derpy. But other than that, these keycaps are perfect, and they're by far my favorite keycaps on a stock keyboard. And I did forget to say that they do have a nice texture on them because they're PBT, and the legends are dye subs, so they aren't going to wear over time. You aren't going to be touching the side of the keycaps though, so that doesn't really matter. And they are relatively crisp and clean. They are a bit blurrier than double shot though, but they do look very nice. The switches on this keyboard were marketed to be optical switches, but they're actually standard Gateron switches, which is a relief for me because I don't really like the optical switches that much. Those feel a bit shaky and plasticky, and the standard switches are really awesome because, you know, they're just standard. And also this is hot swap, so you can swap it out with other higher end switches too. So if you want something nicer like Zelios or Ink Blacks, then you can buy those. So my copy has Gateron black switches, and you can also buy this with reds, blues, and browns. The black switches are linear and they're 60 grams, and because they're heavier than reds, it kind of prevents me from bottoming out, which is really awesome because, you know, bottoming out kind of sucks on a linear. It's hard to really feel where the actuation is without the tactile bump. And they were slightly scratchy stock, but when I did mod them, I spray lubed them with super lube, and they're very smooth now, and I honestly have no complaints. I do know the Ink Blacks are a bit nicer than this, so if I ever want something nicer, I probably will buy those. The stabilizers on this keyboard are plate mount, and they're lubed, So they are pretty smooth and nice, but they are slightly rattly. So Band-Aid modding this will definitely help the feeling of them. But what's really cool about these stabilizers is that they're clipped, so they won't be hitting the PCB and making terrible noises. And also what was very interesting is that the bottom of them had sound dampening material on the spacebar. I have no clue how they did that or why they did that, but that seems like something that would be on a higher end board, and this board is under $100. The RGB on this keyboard is very bright and vibrant, and you can control this using the function layer on the keyboard. I actually don't really know the keybinds yet, but I'm pretty sure you can just find them on Google or the Yunzi page on Amazon. So there is a few different modes. The one I have right now is like this breathing mode with the RGB just going through all of its colors, and it's so bright, guys, especially because of the white plate and the white keycaps. It makes it really just pop and stand out. Also, thankfully this doesn't have that terrible microphone in the inside that listens to you like the Skylong keyboards. Those things were just creepy, they got in the way, and I really never used that RGB feature anyways, so it's nice to see that this keyboard does not have that. So this keyboard did not come with a manual as far as I know, so I'm not really sure what the function layer is, and I can't find the software anywhere online too, which doesn't really make sense because this PCB is customizable and it should have a software. So sadly, I can't really find it, but if you guys know about it, then please link it down below, and then I'll probably put it in my description or something. And that right there is my review for the Keycool 84 Holiday Edition. This keyboard is amazing, and I don't really see that many flaws for this. In under $100, I have to recommend this keyboard over any other keyboard. It's pretty much the same size as a 60% too, because it's 75%. You also have your function keys and a few of your clusters that's all compact. So you aren't really losing any functionality, and this keyboard is just awesome. So I'm just going to list a few pros and cons just to summarize it basically. Pro numero uno is that it has sound dampening material inside of it which prevents the hollow echoey noise. It's hot swap, so you can swap out your switches. There's no flex on this keyboard because of the solid aluminum plate that doesn't scratch, which is nice. It has lubed stabilizers, which is definitely a bonus, even though they are rattly. If you want to reduce the rattle, you can Band-Aid mod this. This doesn't slip on your desk because of the rubber feet and the flip out feet, and it also has cable management inside of it, which is pretty nice. So the first con that I forgot to talk about earlier is that the switch puller that comes with this keyboard can't pull out the switches on the side of this keyboard. That doesn't really make sense, so you might want to have a spare switch puller laying around if you do want to swap out your switches for this keyboard. The switch puller also seemed to damage some of the switches. When you pulled them out, it took a bit of effort, and it kind of like bent in the part that the LED shines through. That doesn't really mess with the functionality of the switches, but it's kind of just a visual issue. Also, there's no option for screw-in stabilizers, so to improve your stabilizers, the only option is to buy genuine cherry stabilizers or just Band-Aid mod this and balance the wires. And for neutral, there's textured plastic, which I don't really like, but many of you guys might like. This is bottom mounted, which, you know, top mount, bottom mount, there's not much of a difference. And this is a high profile design case, so it covers all of the switches and it's not really sticking out. Those were the pros and cons and neutrals, and I gotta say the pros definitely outweigh the cons. Most of the cons that I listed were just kind of nitpicky, and you guys wouldn't really care or notice any of those. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed it, then please like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. And also, if you want to buy this keyboard or any other keyboards, then you can look at my Amazon Marketplace link in the description below. I make a bit of commission off of that, so it just helps out the channel so I can buy new camera equipment and make my videos nicer. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I think it's 10 minutes now. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.